Admit it to yourself right now. At one point or another, one of these bastards made you shot yourself when it operated out of nowhere and took part of your arse off as it did. Nightstalkers, also known as the rattling retards, are some of the most irritating creatures of the waste, with some possessing the ability to turn invisible and their tendency to roam in packs. They can be one of the most deadly creatures in the waste, especially when encountered later in the game in Big MT. Then, you're in their hood, son. But where did they come from? We touched on it during our excursion into the X-13 research facility, but it still left many questions, such as their true purpose, and why they look like a demented child's attempt to snow a snake's head onto a dog's body. Well, let's find out, shall we? So first of all, what do they look like? Well, like a large canine with a snake head sewn onto the body. They have a large snake head filled with big teeth to take chunks out of you with. Oddly enough, they possess the vocal ability to both hiss at you and growl, which together is just really creepy. The rest of the body is similar to coyote. This makes sense as the DNA used to make this thing was coyote, with the snaky parts coming from a rattlesnake. This explains the tail, which rattles as it moves. This is one of the only giveaways if you're dealing with the invisible kind that you're going to get when you're getting jumped by one. Or, more often than not, the whole fucking pack. They can vary in size quite a bit, with the den mother sometimes being half again as large as a full-grown Nightstalker, and the legendary Nightstalker, that is half as large again. They're quite venomous, able to poison the average player quickly, especially if you're dealing with a large pack of them, which, as I have stated before, is almost always unfortunately the case. They lay eggs. Now this is weird for two reasons. Coyotes bear live young, as do rattlesnakes. Now to be fair, rattlesnakes do carry the eggs around inside them and then hatch the young out live, but they do not lay them. I'm going to put this down as an oversight on the behalf of the developers, something I rarely do, as I couldn't really find any reason why this would be the case. So where did they come from? Well, would you be shocked if I said Big MT? Because given that so much fucked up stuff has come out of there, at this point you really shouldn't be. They were created by Dr. Borous, the head chief first researcher of labs Z9 and Z14. He likes splicing things. He made the cazador. He is a cunt. He felt that the true destination for all rattlesnake DNA was inside a coyote, and so the Nightstalker was born. Now how it actually got out into the waste is sort of a grey area. I touched on this slightly in the X13 video, but I will give you a rundown of what roughly happened there, both in regards to them getting out and the whole invisible thing. So the Nightstalkers were originally bred in the X9 research facility. However, the whole invisibility thing, and them escaping, did not come about until later. To get to the point, it's all due to a particular inept scientist called Dr. Crotalus. So this unfortunate sod asked the chief of security for Big MT for cattle prods, as the vicious snakeotes were acting aggressive, which is in their nature, but whatever, I am not a snakeologist. He used these to inflict pain on the Nightstalkers to see what type of response he could get, preferably one that would trigger their abilities, which I will get to later. The stress testing was used to try get results and prove that the mysterious serum worked. Now keep in mind he was warned this hostility was designed to defend against external threats, not internal ones. At this point, other researchers began to notice the Nightstalkers were acting more aggressive than usual. Apparently the prods mess with their brain chemistry, or some such, though they were never any time to actually investigate these claims properly. Now it appears the majority of researchers did not know that he was doing this, so the blame lies solely on him. Well, he died in the end, outside the holding area for the Nightstalkers. Now here is what I assume happened. The cattle prodding made them overtly aggressive. Go figure. So much so they tried to escape. Their cloaking abilities likely played a role in this, as Crotalus appears to have been killed right outside the door. Based on all the broken grating out the back of the holding pen, it's pretty evident they escaped into the wild. This, along with the release of cazadors, attributed to the slaughter and deaths of a majority of Big MT scientists. All because one arsehole liked inflicting pain on animals. Now, final piece of the puzzle. Why the fuck can they turn invisible? Well, according to the terminal entries in X13, some kind of serum is involved. Now, what this serum is, or who designed it, is unknown, although I'd wager that Crotalus had a hand in its conception. They stated the ability would not be used under duress, although when we encounter them, this is most certainly not the case. I think getting constantly assaulted with a cattle prod might have caused them to figure out how to use it when they were pissed off, though that doesn't explain why the ones found in Charleston Cave can use it. The only explanation we get is they were chewing on a stealth boy. This could mean one of two things. A chemical in stealth boys is similar to or is the serum. If this is the case, the effects may have been temporary and Callus was trying to make them permanent. This could explain why common Nightstalkers do not have the ability, as it wore off or was bred out over time. Though how this trait would be bred out or wouldn't be seen as advantageous is beyond me. The second explanation is that all Nightstalkers have the ability. The ones in Big MT either learned it from their parents or some external variable is a factor. The ones in the waste did not have any catalyst to trigger the ability, so they needed one such as whatever is found in stealth boys to trigger it. Well, that's everything. We can assume they were conceived as bioweapons of a sort, though they might have also been made on a Dur, not too sure. Anyway, after they were created, the real question was military application. It is at this point we can assume the whole cloaking abilities was conceived. They were administered the serum, tortured by a dickhead, learned to use the ability, killed said dickhead, and escaped. They now roam the Mojave, though thankfully the majority of Nightstalkers do not possess the ability to turn invisible. Instead, they spend their time killing people, and generally ruin the lives of everyone around them. And that, my dear children, is why we dome their fucking heads in. I hope you liked this episode about the stealthiest of shits to be found in the Mojave. If you did, why not leave a like? I love reading comments, so get them in there. Any suggestions for future content or videos you would like me to do are appreciated and welcome. If you want to help me grow, share this video on as many social media sites as you can, especially Reddit. Tell everyone. If you want to contact me regarding business, send me a private message either here or on Twitter and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope to see you in my next episode, and until then, goodbye.